As the biggest trial of Matt Murdock's life looms large in the not-too-distant future, what choices will he take to safeguard Hell's Kitchen? Well, let's hop into the pages of Daredevil issue number 24 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up from where the last issue left off, Matt is absolutely livid at longtime best friend Foggy for asking his screw-up brother Mike Murdock to join their legal team and pretend to be Matt. I mean, that's some crazy soap operatics on its own, but it only gets crazier when you realize that Mike Murdock has only technically been a real boy for a little while now. Before that, he had only been a figment of Matt's own imagination. But, you know, I'm not going to retread the annual. You should go back and read that for yourself. Obviously, Matt has all the reason in the world to be upset, especially because his ex-girlfriend Kristen is also on the team. And honestly, he can't trust what his brother Mike is going to do. He also particularly hates the cover story that Foggy had cooked up that Mike needed to come on in and pretend to be his brother because Matt was off in rehab. Sadly, they're going to need all hands on deck if they're going to save Daredevil from his upcoming court case, a court case that is ballooned to such a huge size now that even Kingpin is going to be there to overlook it. Mayor Fisk won't be alone though, as he just picked up a brand new +1. Typhoid Mary, who had returned during the big battle of Hell's Kitchen, is refusing to go away, and she just got herself a new job as Fisk's bodyguard. Well, I say got, she basically demanded it, and who's he to say no? Now, Matt really is feeling like a guilty verdict is truly inevitable right here, right now, but before the worst should possibly happen, he wants to make sure that he's got all of his ducks in a row. In a previous issue, he had gone to Tony Stark in hopes that the ultra-wealthy Iron Man could use his fortune to buy up all the parcels of land that the very evil Stromwyns twins were trying to pick up for themselves in the last few arcs. Tony agrees to this crazy plan, though he's still not exactly sure where Matt is coming from in all of this. Mike also manages to make things a lot more complicated and a lot more stressful for his brother by trying to put the moves on Kristen. Granted, Kristen doesn't want any of this. She's only seen Mike slacking in the guise of Matt. But still, even though romance may be very well off the table, it's clear that she does care for Matt and what happens to him, and that he should definitely have been a part of what's going on with Daredevil given their long connection. It's also probably important to reaffirm too that Mike actually still has no idea his brother Matt is Daredevil, even though they have a long-standing relationship as well. Daredevil comes to put the fear into Mike Murdock, and you get the feeling that through the guise of Daredevil he's trying to say all the harsh stuff that he's always wanted to say to his brother. Surprisingly though, Mike actually holds his own in a verbal sparring contest and even manages to get a couple hits in himself. Basically, hey, I'm doing this because I was asked and because I'm getting paid. I'm not gonna screw it up. Kristen's a big girl who knows what she's doing, and that this lady has got to be pretty special and different from all the other Daredevil love interests because, well, she's still above ground while all the others are definitely not. The hits keep on coming for poor Matt too when he discovers from Tony that the Stromwyns were seemingly able to buy the land anyway, as the Stark computer systems had gone down during the time of acquisition. This means that the future of Hell's Kitchen is not certain, and Matt begins to wonder that maybe he should try and beat this case at any cost because, well, if he's not out there to defend Hell's Kitchen on the streets, it could get gobbled up. In a very risky move, Matt himself actually goes to cut a backroom deal with the prosecutor for a plea bargain. Even though poor Christian and Foggy have been working overtime to try and build a proper case for Matt, only to have him go above their head and do this. Things continue to heat up too at the actual trial itself, as we see that Luke Cage, Danny Rand, Jessica Jones, and even Elektra have all come to watch. As whatever the verdict is in this case, it will have ripple effects for the entirety of the superhero community for years to come. Daredevil readies his defense when he ends up hearing something that only his super hearing can pick up. It's Elektra admitting that all that money she stole from the Stromwyns twins a couple arcs back, well, she used it to buy up Hell's Kitchen. Meaning that the future of Daredevil's home is safe and secure for years to come. The only problem is this ends up putting him in a real uncomfortable position. He had done all of this stuff, moved heaven and earth to make sure that he could get back on the streets to fight. Only now he doesn't have to. Elektra has truly freed him to do what he, Matt Murdock, thinks is right, and what he thinks is right ends up shocking everyone. He pleads guilty to second-degree manslaughter, meaning that as the comic comes to a close, the devil of Hell's Kitchen is going to jail again. And so everybody, that was Daredevil issue number 24, and once again Chip Zdarsky manages to deliver one banger of a superhero story. I would say this legal procedural here includes all the best part of your favorite prestige television shows, but also with a nice little backdrop of comic book weirdness like Secret Brothers. It's also a testament to how you can tell a truly gripping, truly exciting, truly action-packed little superhero story and not have to have anyone throw a punch all comic long, or barely throw a punch. You know, as a commentator in the YouTube scene, I have a lot of conversations about what truly constitutes an adult-themed comic book story, and I really think Zdarsky's Daredevil is the perfect example of what I'm always trying to say when I talk about a comic story for adults with superheroes, and that's what this is. Overall, I feel confident giving this one another 8.5 out of 10. It is just consistently solid reading.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Jewel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.